Even if it doesn't work, I will wash your car, I will walk your dog. I don't care what it is. I will do whatever it takes to make it up to you.
If I'm going to have a partnership with somebody, I want it to be compatible.
I'm David. Welcome to Wise Vibes. In this video, we're going to talk about the 7 lessons learned by 7 different billionaires on their journey to success. We have Oprah Winfrey, Mark Zuckerberg, Mark Cuban, and a few other people. First, let's start off with Bill Gates. Take time every day to learn something.
How your life could be better off if you had gotten your Harvard degree?
Well, I'm a weird dropout because I take college courses all the time. I love learning company courses and things, so I loved being a student. And there were smart people around, and they fed you, and they gave you these nice grades that made you feel smart. So I feel it was unfortunate that I didn't get to stay there. But I don't think I missed any knowledge because, whatever I needed to learn, I was still in a learning mode.
Next is Oprah Winfrey. Don't be ashamed of your past.
You came from very modest circumstances. You didn't come from a wealthy family.
Well, modest is not the word.
Well, I was trying to be polite.
I mean, I was actually poor. And a lot of the girls at my school, actually all the girls from my school are poor. And I was saying to them just recently, I was just in South Africa for a graduation, you all are come from the same circumstances. You are poor. And one of the girls raised her hand and said, I don't like using that word. I go, well, if you're not poor, then you should excuse yourself because that's why I'm paying for you, because you're in this school. So if you're not, but you don't like the choice of the word. So I don't have a problem with the word. I don't have any shame about it. I think, probably earlier in my life or career, the word would have bothered me. But it was, I was poor. No running water, David, or electricity, living with an outhouse. Okay, that's poor.
Warren Buffett, seek compatible partners.
If you go back to when I started my partnership in 1956 that Berkshire came out of, there were 7 people sitting there at a table having dinner, relatives primarily, and I said, here's the partnership agreement. It's done under Nebraska law. It's 4 or 5 pages. You don't need to read it. But I said, here's a little half-page, what I call the ground rules. And I want you to read these, and if you feel okay about that, about the interaction, what the expectations are, and all of that sort of thing, then we'll join forces. And if you don't, it's fine. Other people have, but we shouldn't be partners. I mean, if I'm going to have a partnership with somebody, I want it to be compatible. It is, and when you have a public company, you can't control who comes in. I can't control some guy that comes in and thinks we're going to pay big dividends or split the stock or something like that. So by my actions and my communications and everything, I want to attract the people that, from the public market that I want, and I want to keep the others away. Costco was built. Saul Price, who started the Price Club, that thing, he sat down and figured out the customer he didn't want. And he set up a system that would keep away the customer he didn't want. Who did he not want? He didn't want somebody buying a quart of milk with somebody behind him with a basket of $200 worth of goods waiting for that. So he put in a membership fee, and by putting in a membership fee, he killed all the drop-in business, the business that belonged to the 7-Eleven. We want Berkshire to keep out people who have expectations about us that are different than ours. I mean, good for them, and I hope they find somebody they fit. But if you're going to run a church, you want your seats to be filled by people that are generally want to listen to your form of religion, and you don't want it to change every week and say, gee, I need a new group, and I'll go out and talk to a bunch of investors and get them to come to my church this Sunday, because there are only so many seats in the church. There's 1,645,000 or so A-equivalent shares, and those are the seats, and I want them occupied by people that are on the same page I am.
Be Persistent by Mark Cuban.
I moved in, one of my buddies from Indiana said, you got to come to Dallas. And I'm like, I'm there. My car would only get so far. It had a Fiat X19 with a hole in the floorboard that guzzled oil every 60 miles. And I went down there, and there's a place called The Village. It's was the world's largest apartment complex. We had 6 guys in a 3-bedroom apartment. I didn't have my own room. I didn't have my own drawer. I didn't have my closet. I had a pile, and I had one ratty towel that I stole from Motel 6. And that was it. And so I was looking for my career, got a job at a software store. And I was, didn't have a tech background, so I was teaching myself all this. Because the way I look at tech is somebody invents it, and everybody else is tied for second place in the ability to learn it. And if I work harder and faster to really dive in, even if it means reading the manual, you know, just diving in, then I can get a head start.
How old were you during
I was 24. And so sleeping on the floor, working in a software company, you know, learning, getting better at what I was doing. And then one day, because I was dying to get out of that rat hole that I lived in, I had a chance to go out and close a sale that would have got me a $1,500 commission. And so I went to my boss, his name is Michael Humecki, and I said, boss, one of my responsibilities was to sweep the floor, wipe down the windows, and open the door to open the store. I got the sale, you gotta let me close the sale. He goes, no, you gotta be in here to open the store. And I'm like, Michael, no. So I made the executive decision to go out, pick up the check, thinking if I hand this guy a $15,000 check, of course he's gonna change his mind. Fired me on the spot. And so here I was, living, excuse my French, you know, just this ratty place with a Motel 6 towel, sorry, Motel 6, and really didn't know how I was going to get out. But I decided, okay, I'm a lousy employee. I went to one of the companies that I'd been talking to, Architectural Lighting, and I said, look, I need $500 to be able to buy the software you want, and I promise you that even if it doesn't work, I will wash your car, you know, I will walk your dog, I don't care what it is, I will do whatever it takes to make it up to you. And they gave me the $500, and that allowed me to create Micro Solutions. And you know, 6 months later, I was out of the rat hole, and my company turned into a real company, and that's the one I sold for $6 million when I was 29, 30 years old.
And Elon Musk presents Overcome Doubt.
Maybe I just blank out the word doubt. No, I mean, to be totally frank, I doubted us too. So I thought we, you know, had maybe, when starting SpaceX, maybe had a 10% chance of reaching orbit. So you know, to those who doubted us, I was like, well, I think you're probably right, you know. I mean, the number of times that I was told, like, because I was taking the money that I earned from PayPal and rolling it into to create SpaceX and Tesla, and I ended up spending it all. It wasn't the intention, but almost both companies went bankrupt. Frankly, 2008 was a tough year. You know, it took us 4 attempts just to get to orbit with Falcon 1. But a lot of times people would tell me this joke, like, how do you make a small fortune in the rocket industry? You start with a large one, is the punchline. And I was like, okay, I already heard that joke 12,000 times, you know. Anyway, and it almost came true. You know, we just barely made it there, that 4th launch of Falcon 1. That's all the money we had for that 4th launch. And then, and that wasn't even enough to save the company. We also then had to win the NASA cargo resupply contract. So that came a little after, you know, a little bit later, or right towards the end of 2008. Those are the 2 key things that saved SpaceX. Otherwise, we would have, you know, not made it. So hey, I think those doubters were, their probability assessment was correct. But fortunately, fate has smiled upon us and brought us to this day.
Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, says, be nice to people.
Do you remember your first lecture here at Harvard? Mine was Computer Science 121 with the incredible Harry Lewis. Harry. I was running late for class, so I threw on a t-shirt, and I didn't realize until afterwards that I put it on inside out and backwards, and my tag was sticking out the front. I couldn't figure out why no one in class would talk to me. Except for this one guy, KX Jin. He just went with it. We started doing our problem sets together, and now he runs a big part of Facebook. And that, class of 2017, is why you should be nice to people.
And founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma, teaches, go step by step.
I came here to share with you the entrepreneur's spirit and the dreams. This is what I learned from the other part of the world. I learned from the American dreams. I learned from many other startups in the whole world that the dream, how they do it. I think the very important is that making sure your dream can be realized, making sure your dream makes steps by step every week, every month, and making sure that your employees believe it, making sure your customers are happy. Because if your customer are happy, your employees are happy, the shareholder will be happy. Do not try to spend a lot of time with your shareholders. Spend enough time with your customers. Spend enough time with your employees. And even do not spend a lot of time with competitors, because we are all so early stage.
Comment down below which was your favorite lesson or what stuck with you the most. Also hit the like button if you got any value out of this video whatsoever. I'm going to end with this quote right here by Peter Diamandis. The best way to become a billionaire is to help a billion people. And you don't have to become a billionaire. That's not what life is all about. Just having enough money is also good as well. If you want some more lessons and habits from successful people, you could click this video over here. And I just want to let you know you can do anything you want in life. You just have to change your mindset. Thank you so much for watching.